Okay, shalom, shalom, everybody. We are here on Wednesday night class, March 25th, and we in the midst of this coronavirus. So, everybody, a little word of warning. Everybody needs to play it safe, and just take keep your hands clean, keep your distance, and do what it is. It's not gonna hurt to keep safe, to be safe. So I'm gonna start my prayer. We're gonna pray before we get started. Oh Lord, we pray unto the Lord, my God. We make our confessions. Oh Lord, the great and dreadful God, keeping covenant and mercy to those that love Thee and them that keep Thy commandments. Oh Lord, righteousness belongeth unto Thee, but unto us a confusion of faith, as it is this day, to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off, through all the countries whither Thou hast driven us, because of our trespass, that we have trespassed against Thee. As it is written in the laws of Moses, all this evil is come upon us in the land of our captivity here in the Americas and the Caribbean. O Lord, according to all Thy righteousness, I beseech Thee, let Thine anger and Thy fury be turned away from the city of Jerusalem and Thy people and Thy holy mountain. O Lord, hear this prayer. Cause Thy face to shine upon Thy sanctuary and Thy people, for the Lord's sake. O Lord, open Thine eyes and incline Thine ears to hear, and behold our condition. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. And O Lord, hearken and do. Defer not, for Thine own sake. O my Lord, for Thy people and Your land needs You desperately at this hour. Peace be on You. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to do some current events. Go to the current events. And between yesterday and today, I got a little list of current events. I was looking at this article, and it was talking about how yesterday the U.S. military is using the U.S. military to combat the coronavirus. The National Guard and the Army has been enacted, along with the reserve troops. And the guy was saying how that a lot of people don't really know it, but he said the Army is a scientific organization. A lot of people look at it from a military perspective, but he's saying that all of a sudden now the Army is a scientific organization. He says FEMA is going to pay for the National Guard. So far, there's been 7,300 troops that have been employed, and like I was saying, they're going to pay them through FEMA, which I thought was kind of odd. And so then it says they bring in 13,000 people from coming from abroad, from all different countries. America, they bringing them all home. That's odd. So they bringing 13,000 people home from abroad. China already lifting their restrictions. And then the U.S. Secretary General called for a worldwide ceasefire. All wars or any conflicts that's going on, he called for a worldwide ceasefire to all military conflicts. Okay, and he also encouraged everybody to self-medicate, and made it aware that a lot of the small businesses at this point they're in a bind. And the New York, let me see how it go. It says I don't see what it says. Thousands of New York PD are positive. They tested positive for the coronavirus, and then it says in the New York Fire Department 39. Okay. And I don't know if anybody's seen that, but today, they showed the Prince Charles tested positive. Anybody hear that?
Yes.
Anybody?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So there's something. So like I was saying, we see how this going. Like all of a sudden, Prince Charles tested positive. Okay. And then this morning they say that the Congress came over with a stimulus package. And, they passed it, but I think you have to go through both houses or whatever. But they got the in place. They just got to do the actual factory with it. And then New Orleans is a hot spot. That's hitting home because I'm just down there where I'm at. But New Orleans is got hot. Instead of the virus spreading. Okay, and then I don't know if anybody noticed, but Atlanta is at max capacity with the hospital beds. So they at the point where they have no more room to bring in patients in Atlanta. I didn't know that. Okay, and then so I'm gonna do my first clip because of another thing I was looking at was everybody online know about the boule and how they use the boule to manipulate things and to get things where they wanted to be at. They use the so-called upper blacks and middle class blacks, and the sororities and all that to further their agendas. And so, anybody that know anything about this know Roland Martin is boule. You know what I'm saying? So, him and his little crew on the Roland Martin Unfiltered, they doing the most with Trump. So I'm gonna play a little bit, and you can check it out for yourself, and we'll talk about it after the video. I'm thinking that it's not good. It ain't looking good when you start talking about the black vote compared to Trump. So we're gonna listen to it. Here we go.
You're hearing what they're trying to break down when talking about the testing. The problem that we still have is you just heard it yesterday when at the news conference they said that they've only processed 250,000 tests. That's it. 250,000 tests. We still are at a point where we do not know how significant this is. I told you what is happening in New York. I told you that they're at max capacity for ICU beds in Atlanta. I told you what is happening in Louisiana. And you've got Donald Trump who's acting as if, hey, let's just hurry up and get this thing. Y'all, the man literally said today, we're almost at the end of this. We're almost at the end of this. I'm trying to figure out in what world. In what world are we almost at the end of this? That's not what all the experts that we've had on. That's not what you've been even hearing from the experts in these news conferences. I have no idea to explain, again, the lying that consistently happens and what is going on from this administration. Let's bring my panel right now. Joining me via Skype, Michael Brown, former Vice Chair, Democratic National Committee Finance Committee, Kelly Bethea, Communications Strategist, Melvin Abdul, Republican Strategist.
These all black folks.
Start with you, Michael. Again, as I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at numbers, I'm looking at what's happening in New York City, and we're seeing the numbers there. We're seeing what's happening in the state of Louisiana. We do not have a full handle on where we stand. Yet Donald Trump literally a few moments ago at the news conference talked about how we're almost at the end of this.
He's clearly, besides being an impeached president, a very inept president. And he got off on the wrong foot because he was hoping that maybe only one or two cases would come to the United States from China or from wherever. That clearly wasn't the case. And by into the political realm with him, you can forget all rational thought. And that's what you've been talking about today. Nothing's rational. And so from this point on, we're all going to be playing catch-up. April 12th, he's going to turn the pauses back on. I don't know how people, especially some states, aren't going to just let churches fill up. There's still going to be type of spacing, whether it's in grocery stores, pharmacies, hospitals. Well, hospitals are going to be overrun. And then clearly churches and synagogues and mosques.
Kelly, I'm still trying to put my arms around him coming out today saying his target or timeline is Easter Sunday. And he's already talking about wanting to see all of the churches full. When, his own Surgeon General said on Monday, this week is going to be a very bad week.
No, I am thoroughly disgusted by this president on a regular basis, but for him to use religion, specifically Christianity, because that is the predominant religion in this country, to try and garner some type of support and be like, oh, I'm trying to get churches open as a way to appease and appeal to the evangelical Christian community, it is blasphemy at its highest level. Because first and foremost, you don't need a church building in order to have church. If he were a Christian, he would know that. So for him to say that, oh, I want all the churches open and I want, pastors to garner congregants and all these things, it's absolutely ridiculous. God would want you to stay home. God would want you to be healthy. God would want you to serve him in any capacity that is going to help others. You being in a building does not preclude you from serving God. So let's just get that out the way right now. It's clear that Donald Trump isn't Christian. If anything, he's more of a troll. And we've known this for years. But for him to use the religion that I ascribe to, that I have been following since first, basically, it's beyond insulting. And for others, and what's even more insulting is that churches are actually following him. They're actually having service, like these mega churches, like you said, in Louisiana. There is no way for you to truly social distancing in such a way that will help thousands of congregants be healthy within your vicinity. You need to stay home. You need to open up your Bible from home. If you want to see your pastor, site, something other than being in a building, because that's not going to help this crisis.
Okay, so you see how they doing the most? They just all out dogging him out, and so like I was saying, that ain't good for the black vote, because Roland Martin got a ear. He got a hold on the black voters. He got a major part of it. He's sort of like what's the guy, the white guy back in the day that I don't know his name, but he had a radio show. And they caught him with those, he's doing those pain pills. I can't think of his name, but anyway. So, anybody got any comments on that? What do you think about what they were saying? Hello? Hello?
We're here.
Yeah, anybody got any comments on that? I mean, what you think about that? Do you think they was, where they going with that? Because we know that they want Trump in our office, but it seems like they clearly, they dogging him out. And,
right.
Roland Martin called him a nutcase. I mean, if you know anything about Trump, it's going to be some retaliation. So, like I was saying before, just keep your eye on that. I just thought it was crazy because of, they was just all out 3 of them back to back. They just blasting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the book of Jubilees and read a chapter out of that before I start the lesson. Anybody got anything else dealing with current events or something they want to share that they saw or some information that they came across? No? Okay. I'm in the book of Jubilees, chapter 41. It says in the 45th Jubilee, in the second week, in the second year, Judah took for his firstborn a wife from the daughters of Aram named Tamar, but he hated and did not lie with her because his mother was of the daughters of Canaan, and he wished to take him a wife of the kinsfolk of his mother. But Judah, his father, would not permit him, and this the firstborn of Judah, was wicked, and the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, his brother, go in to thy brother's wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her, and raise up a seed unto thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed would not be his, but his brother's only, and he went into the house of his brother's wife, and spit the seed on the ground, and he was wicked in the eyes of the Lord, and he slew him. And Judah said unto Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain in thy father's house as a widow till Shelah, my son, grow up, and I shall give thee to him to wife. And he grew up, but Bethshal, the wife of Judah, did not permit her son Shelah to marry. And Bethshal, the wife of Judah, died in the 5th year of this week. And in the 6th year, Judah went up to shear the sheep at Timnah. And they told Tamar, behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnah to shear sheep. And she put off her widow clothes and put on a veil and adorned herself and sat in the gate adjoining the way to Timnah. And Judah was going along, and he found her and thought her to be an harlot. And he said unto her, let me come in unto thee. And she said unto him, come in. And he went in. And she said unto him, give me my hire. And he said unto her, I have nothing in my hand save my ring that is in my finger, on my finger, and my necklace, and my staff which is in my hand. And she said unto him, give them to me until thou doest send me my hire. And he said unto her, I will send unto thee a kid of the goats. And he gave them to her, and he went in to her, and she conceived by him. And Judah went unto his sheep, and she went to her father's house. And Judah sent a kid of the goat by the hand of his shepherd, and Adullamite, and he found her not. And he asked the people of the place, saying, where is the harlot who was here? And they said unto him, there is no harlot here with us. And he returned and informed him, and said unto him that he had not found her. I asked the people of the place, and they said unto me, there is no harlot here. And he said, let her keep them, lest we become a cause of derision. And when he had completed 3 months, it was manifested that she was with child. And they told Judah, saying, behold, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, is with child by whoredom. And Judah went to the house of her father, and said unto her father and unto her brothers, bring her forth, and let them burn her, for she hath wrought uncleanness in Israel. And it came to pass, and they brought her forth to burn her, that she sent to her father-in-law the ring and the necklace and the staff, saying, discern whose are these, for by him I am with child. And Judah acknowledged and said, Tamar is more righteous than I am, and therefore let them burn her not. And for that reason she was not given to Shelah, and he did not again approach her. And after that she bore 2 sons, Perez and Zerah, in the 7th year of this 2nd week. And thereupon the 7 years of fruitfulness was accomplished, of which Joseph spake to Pharaoh. And Judah acknowledged that the deed which he had done was evil, for he had lain with his daughter-in-law, and he had esteemed it hateful in his eyes, and he acknowledged that he had transgressed and gone astray, for he had uncovered the skirt of his son, and he began to lamentate and to supplicate before the Lord because of his transgression. And we told him in a dream that it was forgiven him because he supplicated honestly and lamentated and did not again commit it. And he received forgiveness because he turned from his sin and from his ignorance, for he transgressed greatly before our God. And everyone that acted thus, everyone who lied with his mother-in-law, let them burn with fire, that he may burn therein, and their uncleanness and pollution upon them with fire, let them burn them. And do not command the children of Israel that there be no uncleanness among them. For everyone who lied with his daughter-in-law or with his mother-in-law have wrought uncleanness. With fire, let them burn the man who have lain with her, and likewise the woman, and he will turn away wrath and punishment from Israel. And unto Judah, he said that his two sons had not lain with her, and for this reason his seed was established for a second generation and would not be rooted out. For in singleness of eye he had gone and sought for punishment, namely according to the judgment of Abraham, which he had commanded his son Judah. Judah had sought to burn her with fire. Okay, so it's two things I want to deal with on this. It says in Jubilee chapter 41 and verse 3, it says in verse 2 it says, but I'm gonna read 1. It says, in the 45th Jubilee in the second week and in the second year, Judah took his firstborn a wife from the daughters of Aram named Tamar, but he hated the boy. Hated her, and he did not lie with her because his mother was of the daughters of Canaan, and he wished to take him a wife of his kinfolk of his mother. But Judah's father would not permit him. And this the firstborn of Judah, was wicked, and the Lord slew him. So he married to this Tamar, and he didn't want to go into it. So he wouldn't lie with her. So his brother, Most High, Lord of Hosts, killed him. And then, so the custom is, in verse 3, is that, and this the firstborn of Judah, was wicked, and the Lord slew him. 4, and Judah said unto Onan, that's his brother, go in unto thy brother's wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her, and raise up seed unto thy brother. So right here, like I was saying before, the way we think, the way we think, and then I'm continuously saying, think like a Hebrew. Well, this dude going into, he got to go in and have a sexual encounter with his brother's wife because his brother died without seed. So ain't nothing sexy about that. It ain't nothing sexy about that, and he not going in there because of lustful eye, or he thinks that she look a certain way. He going in there because he's duty. So that's a whole other mindset. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other mind. So that's what I'm saying about where we at. We're way off on Pin Road somewhere, because that's not even how he got to go in there and perform the duty, but it ain't nothing sexual about it. Ain't nothing sexual about it. So anyway, so with that being said, I want to go to the other verse, which was it says 17. It says Judah went to the house of her father and said unto her father and her brother, bring forth and let them burn her, for she hath wrought uncleanness in Israel. So this is another thing I'm talking about the the drama that's going on with us today. So it's all this happening all over the place, and everybody keeping to their own self. Nobody calling nobody out about the wickedness that they're doing. But our forefathers, you couldn't perform no wicked act in front of them. They come in and call you out. So Judah went to the girl when he found out she had a baby. Ain't but one way to get a baby. You gotta get in the bed. So she ain't got no business in the bed. So he says, so he went to her house and to her father and said to her father, bring her forth and let them burn her, for she hath wrought wickedness in Israel. It came to pass when they brought her forth to burn her that she sent to her father-in-law the ring and the necklace and the staff, saying, discern who these are these, for by him I am with child. So the only thing saved her was that she had that signet and that ring. Otherwise, other than that, she's gonna get dealt with. She's gonna get burned up. So I mean, you know, you would think that this is barbaric. But we talking about going back to Israel. This is what we're going back to. We're going back to these laws, statutes, and judgments. You know, so we ain't, you know, like I said, you gotta be careful what you pray for. You don't understand what you're praying for. Yeah. Okay. Anybody got a comment on what I read? You know, something they want to say or add before I move forward to the lesson? No input.
Well, when we think about Tamar, you know, think about what women go through when they say they don't know who the baby daddy is. You know, it's because we're functioning in a whole another set of rules. You know,
right.
The Hebrew Israelites, you know, I mean, they weren't just going around trying to get another name in their little black book because they understood it to be a responsibility.
Right.
You know, and the other word I thought about when you said when the guy had to go into his brother's wife, and you said you know, there was nothing whatever sexual about it. And I also thought about there was nothing lustful about it either, because it's like he didn't know her like that. You know,
right,
that was, so like you say, he was going in to do what needed to be done in order to get a seed to give his brother, to keep his brother's name alive. He wasn't going in there to say, oh, you know, she got big legs or whatever like that. You know, I'm just saying. Hallelujah.
So the play, like I was saying before, the play with your eyes and all that. That's wicked as hell. So you say, well, what's going on with that? Well, I read. I'm gonna read it again now. Well, before the flood, when what the children of Cain was doing, it says, Book of Adam and Eve, chapter 20. It says, Gonan did this. Tubal Cain did this to multiply sin greatly. He also acted with pride, taught the children of Cain to commit all manner of grossness and wickedness, which they did not know until then, and he put them up to all kinds of deeds which they did not know before. Then when Satan saw that they obeyed Tubal Cain and listened to him and everything he told them, he rejoiced greatly, and he increased Tubal Cain's understanding until he took iron and with it made weapons. Then when they were drunk, hatred and murder increased among them. One man would use violence against another, and Satan would teach him evil in that one man would take another man's children and defile them before him. And when men saw they were vanquished and saw the others were not beaten, those who were beaten came to Tubal Cain and took refuge with him, and he made them part of his group. Then sin increased among them greatly until man married his own sister or daughter or mother and other or daughter of his or father's sister, first cousin, so that there was no more distinction of relationships, and they could no longer discern what was sin and what was not, but also were wicked, and the earth was defiled with sin, and the anger of God, the judge who had created them. Okay, so you say, well, what's the deal? Why are you reading this? So I said also that we know that you can't mix angelic blood with human blood. You're gonna have defects, side effects, and that's why one of the reasons Most I was saying that the Adam seed got law, statutes, and judgment on them, and so they got a God, a living God. They're dealing with all the way from Adam all the way to the Israelites, and so the defect is on them. Most I ain't got nothing to do with them. It came from what the giants did. Well, we also know when a brother and a sister sleep together, that also bring on these defects. So these people got a double whammy because of right here. He says that they just slept with any woman they came across, and they were just lustful people. So they did all this over and over again for so long. By the time they come in contact with the Israelites, and we come in contact with them, transatlantic slave trade and all that, they diabolical. They got a double whammy on them. And they got all these defects. Their DNA all messed up, twisted all up. That's what was going on when the Greeks ended up at 29th dynasty in Egypt. When you get the Ptolemaic dynasty, they were so lustful and old to the point where and so power hungry that the son when he married another woman, he married his own sister to keep the power there amongst themselves. And then so they was all twisted up in the mind because of this intermingling with the blood. And then that's what the Caesars was doing. He got to the point where the dude Cassius, not Cassius, but can't think his name, but he bought a horse. He was so retarded they had mental problems because their blood was all tightened up. But he bought a horse in the city, and he gave a horse. He made a horse a senator in a Roman Senate. He was diabolical because it was from this mixing of this blood. It was all mental. And so I'm saying all that to say this. So then you go to the curses. He said, since you ain't keep my laws, statutes, and judgments, and you was being protected by my laws, statutes, and judgments, now I'm gonna kick you out, and you're gonna go amongst them. And we see the results of that. We see once he kicked us out, we went amongst them. Look where we at. We sitting there looking at it right now. We got a first-hand view, looking at what's going on. And then, like I said, we watched the video. The world is about to change. We see what they're doing. They didn't went from sleeping with their brothers and sisters to sleeping with over 2- and 3-year-old kids, killing them and drinking their blood and all that. Right. Yeah. So that's how that's all tied together. So, with that being said, anybody got any more comments on Jubilees 41 before I move forward? Okay. Yes, so now is, like I said, I got some videos. I got some clips of some videos because I felt the need to put this on the YouTube. So what I'm dealing with is the title of this lesson is Israel. We're going to Africa soon. That's the name of the video. Name of this lesson. And what I'm doing is I'm gonna start out with the world famous video from Pastor Manning. So whenever I refer to it, people know what I'm talking about. So let me get it right quick. Bear with me. Okay. Okay, here we go.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Obama's going to take away your citizenship. Obama's going to take
said all this
away
in 2012.
the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment of the Constitution, and he's going to send you and all of the black people, Obama with Bill Gates and with Bill Clinton, are going to send you and all of the black people to either two places. You can stay here in the Western Hemisphere, and he's going to send you to Haiti, but he's going to round y'all up from South Central Los Angeles. He's going to round y'all up from the mega churches down in Dallas. He's going to round y'all up from the mega churches in Atlanta. He's going to round y'all up from New York, from Chicago, and he's going to send y'all back to Africa. That's right. Bill Gates wants y'all out of America. Mark Zuckerberg wants y'all out of America. George Soros wants y'all out of America.
Yeah, remember those names.
Something, my friends. And not too many years from now, black people are going to be sent back to Africa. Something that many say should have been done shortly after the Civil War. Well, Obama is going to be the one that put the policy in place, destroy the effectiveness of the Constitution, take over all your resources and your property, the National Defense Authorization Act, that anybody can be arrested. What that means is this: all black people are going to be arrested and going to be sent back to the West Coast or to the Sahara in Africa or Sub-Saharan Africa, and there'll be nothing you can do about it. You'll have no constitution to call upon, no lawyer can defend you. There'll be no congressman nor senator nor judge that will hear your case. You run around here, Bishop Jackson, with Jesse and Al and all these cross-dressers, all of these transvestites, all of these race baiters and race fixers and hustlers. You run around here and you let the devil get on the throne of the White House. And now, in not too many years, you go read the National Defense Resource Act. Obama owns all property. You read the National Defense Authorization Act. Anybody can be arrested, picked up at any time, and sent to any country. And that is not for white people. It's for black people. They're going to send you back to Africa, and it will solve America's economic problems. It'll solve America's crime problems. It will solve America's industrial problems. It's going to send you black people back to Africa. The National Defense Authorization Act, the destruction of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment of the Constitution. Obama is the son of Satan. I repeat, get down on your knees. Don't need a press conference to rebuke Obama, but call black preachers and black churches now. You better hear me. You better hear me. You better hear what I have to say. You will be within the next 5 years
Yeah. So with that being said, we've been over this video and talked about this video over and over again. But like I was saying before, we got people that's gonna come across some of our videos online, and so I want to put something out that they can hear and understand the reason why I keep mentioning that. And so everybody thought that this guy was a nutcase. Whenever he came out, they thought he was a nutcase when he said all this. But in the wake of everything that's happening now, you can look and see exactly what he said was is dead on point. And so with that being said, before this guy even came, we had another guy, Dr. Ray Hagan, that informed us about the King Apple plan, and I got a few clips on that. Put this together because this coronavirus is not, it ain't just pop up out of the blue. It's a blueprint. It's America is like when you go back to 9/11 and when you come on down to now, you can see that they had a plan. It's a slow demo. It's a slow demo job they're doing on the United States. They got another place they want to be at rather than here. So they got do away with this place in order to bring the other place into existence. So let me get this other video right quick. This is the one with Pastor Hagen. I got a few clips out of this. It's going to all come together when I finish with it. Yeah. Yeah, so let me start it right quick. Like I said, you're going to have to bear with me. You have to bear with me. Okay, here we go.
The message for today, brothers and sisters, is entitled The King Alfred Plan.
It's the introduction to the King Alfred Plan.
The extermination of blacks in America. One of the things that you should understand, brothers and sisters, before going any further is I want you to, prepare your psyche. Now, this message is not a spiritual one. This message is not a churchianity kind of thing. This message today is to let you know what's going on in our socio-political environment. Everybody stand. So trying to gear your head up for that, all right? And understand that I'm going to share some information with you in this message that's very disturbing. I'm telling you now. It's not meant to depress you. It's meant to make you aware. It's not meant to make you walk out of here feeling like there's no hope. It's meant to make you walk out of here saying, I got to get busy. And informing my brothers and sisters what's really going on so that we can prepare ourselves for what is coming. The information that I'm going to share with you, personally, I have researched it along with many of my colleagues, and we found a lot of this information in the United States Library of Congress. A lot of this information has finally been declassified after being held away from the masses or kept back from the masses after many years. Because of the satanic, evil, and clandestine objectives contained in this program, called the King Alfred Plan, it is imperative, it's necessary that those people whom God has called to be watchmen and watchwomen on the wall alert the people. There's a passage in the scripture that says, woe unto the watchman that sees danger coming and don't say nothing. Because then the blood of the people will be on their hands. But when the watchman on the wall proclaims and cries loud and spares not and lifts up their voice, as the scripture says, there's a trumpet in time to show the people what's happening. If the people still fall for it, then the blood is off of the watchman's hand. So today, as the watchman on the wall, it's my duty to inform y'all of some stuff that you might not know about. Do my best. Let's go back in time a little bit. Let's go back approximately 40 years ago. Between the years of 1960 and 1964, an organization called the National Security Council. Have y'all ever heard of that before? I know you have, because we talk about national security memorandum. Well, the National Security Council developed a government program called the King Alfred Plan. This program actually details the arrest, detention, encampment, and extermination of the black and Hispanic or Latino population of this country. No other race of people have had a program written for them but the black, and of course in 1984 it was amended to include the Hispanic population.
Okay, so right there he laid out the fact that what you have to understand is that's the objective. So way back in the 60s and 70s, this plan was already in place. So that's the objective. So everything you see popping off is pointing to that. But since they did this, we done awakened. Prophecy that took place. We know who we are. We know the Israelites. But way before that, they already had this plan in place. So what the doctor just said, Hagen he just gave you the layout to the plan. I mean, he introduced the plan to you. And so I have a couple of more clips, short clips I'm going to show you. He's going to lay out the King Alfred plan, different aspects of it. And then, like I said, we on this end of it, looking back. We already been informed by Pastor Manning, and we've been informed by Dr. Hagen, but we on this end of it. We can look back and see if they knew what they was talking about, and is that the line or the process or the blueprint that's unfolding. So now I'm gonna play these couple other clips, and we're gonna move forward. Hold on 1 minute.
Let's get back to the King Alfred Plan, since you now understand why. You see, brothers and sisters, the point is almost here. Mark my word. The point is almost here that the plans of our lily white government to incite rioting and revolution among blacks and other people of color in the world, the point is almost here where the President of the United States will issue his order for the emergency.
Okay, so we there, and I want to inject right quick because what's gonna happen is they think that the way the Illuminati works to keep, we got Israelites that they tuned in, so they'll discover something where all they do is tweak the plan, because they can't have somebody going around predicting something and then it happen when they say it, so they tweak the plan. So they thinking, these brothers thinking that it wasn't gonna be a black man, but they brought Obama on the scene with shock and awe, and they put everything in place. That's what they use Obama for. They use Obama while everybody was sitting there looking at him and drooling over him and all that, and he talked so slick and all that. They put everything that we dealing with now. Obama set it all in place.
The King Alfred plan. You have it in your hands. Let's look at it right quick. Let's see what's going to happen here. They didn't write this, brothers and sisters, without a plan to make it happen. Let me say that one more time. They did not go through the trouble of writing this without a plan to pull it off. The King Alfred plan, the United States of America King Alfred plan, code name Rex 84. Here's what it says, and I'm going to read quickly. In the event of widespread and continuing and coordinated racial disturbances in the United States, King Alfred, at the discretion of the president, underline that and then look at the person next and say, this is why no black man can be the president. You got to understand, people, this program was written for black people. They ain't gonna, listen, I don't know. What's Secretary of State's name? Colin Powell. I don't know.
He's thinking it's Colin Powell, but it was Obama.
He seems to be a little disgruntled, but when you got people like that supporting the white agenda, it makes you wonder. They might be able to put somebody who looks black in the Oval Office. It says, at the discretion of the president, King Alfred is to be put into action when? In other words, when the president of the United States, not Congress, not the House, not the Senate, not the House of Representatives, not the Senate, when the president declares this emergency, it's to be implemented immediately. Participating federal agencies, what are they? National Security Council, what else? Central Intelligence Agency, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Justice, Department of Defense, Department of Interior. Participating state agencies, what are they? National Guard units, state police. Participating local agencies are what?
We witnessing all this.
County police, that's right. Now, one of the things you need to understand, brother, let me make this notation before we read further. In addition to the law enforcement agencies that we just mentioned, in 1982, there was a guy named Oliver North. Y'all heard of him, right? Oliver North and Ronald Reagan got together, and the two of them amended the King Alfred plan. And their amendment became known as Rex 84 because it was signed by Ronald Reagan in 1984. Now, the original plan was signed by Lyndon Baines Johnson, but Ronald Reagan amended it to include the Hispanic population. Originally, it was, what we're going to read, it was just written for blacks. But in 1984, Oliver North and Ronald Reagan amended it to include the Hispanic and Latino population. What's really deep, brothers and sisters, is this. The neo-Nazi groups, this is all part of the amendment in 1984, the neo-Nazi groups in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, along with state militia groups, like the Missouri militia, the Michigan militia, the Minnesota militia, all of these white paramilitary groups that have their training grounds out in the woods and stuff that y'all I'm sure y'all know about that, right? I hope you know about that. Well, the amendment in 1984 was written to include them automatically being deputized when the president declares the emergency. And all of these other groups will be deputized by the federal government to round up blacks and Hispanics for encampments.
Okay, so when you wrote this right here, we wasn't dealing with the Mexican problem. So you see how they operate this now after this, after they include the Rex 84, which includes the Hispanics. These Hispanics weren't running crazy like they are now. Wasn't no such thing as MS-13 and all the drama, the Mexican groups, Mexican cartels. None of that was in play when they included Rex 84. But they knew because now when you look at it, the two main people they're trying to deal with is African Americans and Hispanics. So we're looking right at it. We looking back at everything. We can see exactly what's popping off. So I'm going to go to the next clip. Anybody got anything before I go to the next clip? Okay. So we're going to further go into this Kenya plan.
I'm not here to make you feel good today. I'm here to make you aware today. Y'all hear what I'm saying? Now, brothers and sisters, if y'all are thinking for a moment that there's going to be worldwide empathy or sympathy,
it's important right here.
Don't think that. Now, I'm going to tell you why I say that, y'all, because y'all remember when James Baker was Secretary of State? Well, James Baker developed a policy with Russia and Canada. These other governments have created what's called a United States European base to exterminate blacks and Latinos in Africa, South America, the East and West Indies, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. I mean, they're working. Why? Why are we targeted? Think about that. Let's finish reading the memo here. Memo from the National Security Council. Y'all see it? Notice what it says. Even before 1954, when the Supreme Court of the United States of America declared unconstitutional separate educational and recreational facilities, racial unrest and discord had become very nearly a part of the American way of life. But that way of life was repugnant to most Americans. Since 1954, however, that unrest and discord have broken out into widespread violence, which increasingly have placed the peace and stability of the nation in dire jeopardy. This violence has resulted in loss of life. Y'all remember the riots in the 60s, right? Okay, this violence has resulted in loss of life, limb, and property, and has cost the taxpayers of this nation billions of dollars, and the end is not yet in sight. This same violence has raised the tremendously grave question as to whether the races can ever live in peace with each other. Each passing month has brought new intelligence. Now check this out. That despite new laws passed to alleviate the condition of the minority still is not satisfied. Now, who y'all think the minority is here? Black folks, right? Demonstrations and rioting have become a part of the familiar scene. Troops have been called out in city after city across the land, and our image as a world leader severely damaged. Our enemies press closer, seeking the advantage possibly at a time during one of these outbreaks of violence. The minority has adopted an almost military posture to gain its objectives, which are not clear to who? To most Americans. Now, in other words, look at the person next to you and say, evidently, the minority and Americans are two different groups of people. In this document, anyway, when it says the minority has adopted an almost military posture, they're talking about the organization like the Black Panther Party. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panthers stood out there in L.A. with shotguns and handguns and stood face to face with the police department saying, we ain't going to have this here. That was adopting a military posture, and they had to do something about it. It's expected, therefore, that, now check this out, when those objectives are denied the minority, what does it say, people? Racial war must be considered inevitable. And here we go. Read this with me. When that emergency comes, we must expect the total involvement of all 22 million members of the minority, men, women, and children. For once this project is launched, its goal is to terminate once and for all the minority threat to the whole of the American society and indeed the free world.
We here, people, we here.
That's some serious program. Now, of course, it says 22 million members, y'all, and that's because that was the amount of blacks in the country back in the early 60s. You take it, apply it to today, it's a lot more. Chairman, National Security Council. Next memo, preliminary memo from the Department of Interior. Under King Alfred, the nation has been divided into what? 10 regions this country's been divided into for the purpose of implementing their plan.
Way before we woke up, they had these 10 regions.
Notice what it says. Minority members. What people? Minority members. Now, again, this has been amended in 1984 to also include Hispanics now and white sympathizers. Minority members will be evacuated from the cities by federalized National Guard units, local and state police, and, if necessary, by regular units of the armed forces using public and military transportation. Read it now. What does it say? And detained in nearby military installations until a further course of action has been decided. Brothers and sisters, in case y'all did not know, June 27th, 1988, George Bush Sr. What date did I just say? June 27th, 1988. George Bush Sr. signed a document, an order proposing that military bases be turned into prisons. Look at the person that you say, there is a plan
Slow demo.
in place. It goes on to say that the 10 regions are 1, the capital region, 2, northeast region, 3, southeast region, 4, Great Lakes region, 5, south central region, 6, deep south region, 7, deep south region 2. Must be a lot of black folk in the deep south, huh, y'all? 8, Great Plains, Rocky Mountain region, 9, southwest region, 10, west coast region. No attempt will be made to seal off the Canadian and Mexican borders. Secretary, Department of the Interior.
Okay, so he's saying we looking at this and we seeing like Dr. Hagen is laying this out, and he's saying that looking for us to be exterminated. That's what their objective is. But I want to chime in on something to get you right as far as thinking like a Hebrew. So we know that we Israelites. We know that. We already figured that out. So when they was in Egypt, they had some wicked ass Israelites in Egypt. When the Most High came out, what did he do to those wicked ones in the wilderness? He got rid of them. Mm-hmm. When they went to Babylon. When the Nebuchadnezzar came and got them, what did he do? He took the good ones to Babylon. He left the other ones there where they was at and killed them. So I want to read something right quick, because this plan is in place, but they're doing what the Most High been doing long before that. Most High got an elect that He's going to take out of here, but these people got a plan, for the rest of them. So it says I'm in Jeremiah 24, in verse 1. The Lord showed me, and behold, 2 baskets of figs were set before the temple of the Lord. After that, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had carried away captive Jeconiah, the son of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and the princes of Judah with the carpenters and the smiths and from Jerusalem, and had brought them to Babylon. One basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe, and the other basket had very naughty figs, which could not be eaten. They were so bad. So he says in verse 2, one basket had very good figs, even like the figs that are first ripe. So what the figs that were first ripe did? They thought like Hebrews. They kept the Most High law, statutes, and judgments. They had an Israelite countenance. They were dealing with the Lord and His order that He had. The other one was against that. So what we see now, the Most High waking up the Israelites, they coming back around to doing like these figs that were first ripe. Verse 3, then said the Lord unto me, what seest thou, Jeremiah? And I said, figs that are good figs, very good, and evil, very evil, that cannot be eaten. They are so evil. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, let these good figs, like these good figs, so will I acknowledge them. That's what He's doing right now with the elect, them that are carried away captive of Judah, whom I have sent out of this place into the land of the Chaldeans for their good. I will set mine eyes upon them for good, and I will bring them again, to bring the elect ones again to this land, and I will build them and not pull them down, and I will plant them and not pluck them up, and I will give them a heart to know me. That's what's happening now. We've been talking about this. You got people that they don't have a heart to know. They don't have the same spirit. It says, and I will give them a heart to know me, that I am the Lord, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God, and they shall return unto me with their whole heart. And as the evil feed, which cannot be eaten, they are so evil. Surely thus saith the Lord, so will I give Zedekiah, king of Judah, and his princes, and the residue of Jerusalem that remain in his land, to them that dwell in the land of Egypt, and I will deliver them to be removed into the kingdoms of the earth, and to their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse in all places where I shall drive them. Look at this. And I will send the sword, famine, pestilence among them, till they be just consumed from off the earth that I gave unto them, from off the land that I gave unto them and to their forefathers. So He using the King Alpha plan to do what He's been doing. People that ain't doing right, the people that don't have the spirit to deal with the Most High, and don't have the proper counsellors, He's going to use these people here to get rid of them, but He's going to take the elect out. So, with that being said, I got one more clip from this King Alpha plan, and it's about 4 minutes. Let me hit it right quick.
Busting y'all bubble. I'll tell you like it is. It goes on to say, all other leaders are to be detained at once. In other words, the leaders that ain't for sale. Compiled lists of minority leaders have been readied at the National Data Computer Center. It is necessary to use the minority leaders designated by the president. I got to walk now. Y'all see that? Minority leaders that the president designated. Look at the president and say, so what good are they?
We're looking at all this right now.
It's necessary to use them in much the same manner in which we use minority members who are agents of the Central Intelligence Agency and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And we cannot, until there is no alternative, reveal King Alfred with all its aspects. In other words, I ain't supposed to stand up here telling y'all about this. You're not supposed to know about this. You see, brothers and sisters, the only way to prevent a conspiracy is to expose it.
That's what we're doing right now.
Notice the next sentence, y'all. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. Uh-oh. You mean Maxine Waters? She's the sister who speaks out for us. And the law has been written that when the president declares this emergency, so what, Maxine? You just another NIGGER. Conyers, you just another NIGGER. When the president decides that y'all got to go, all of y'all out of here. That's the law, people, signed by the President of the United States. Let's go on to the next memo because I'm running way out of time. From the Department of Defense, this memo is being submitted in lieu of a full report from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And it's from the DOD now, Department of Defense. That report is now in preparation. There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the street a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will. Look at the person next to say, and that's because we got a lot of black folks. He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. Why not? Because they ain't worked it out, y'all, to where you got to get their permission to leave this country now. No passport, you ain't going nowhere. In the case of a national emergency, boom, all passports are suspended. How you going to get out of the country? I got a passport, so you think you got an important document? That's just deep. That's just their permission for you to go. Goes on to say, the greatest concentration of the minority is in the Deep South, the Eastern Seaboard, the Great Lakes region, and the West Coast. Now, while the national population exceeds that of the minority by more than 10 times, we must realistically take into account the following. One, an estimated 40 to 50% of the white population will not, for various reasons, engage the minority during an emergency. The reason why the white folks ain't going to try to get out there in the street and engage us is because they know they ain't going to win. No. They'll get out there in the street and they'll see Shaka Zulus everywhere. And they ain't going to, no, they don't want that. Number two, American armed forces are spread around the world. A breakout of war abroad means fewer troops at home to handle the emergency. Three, local law enforcement officials must contain the emergency until help arrives, though it may mean fighting a superior force. New York City, for example, has a 25,000-man police force. Well, now
they didn't cover all angles.
And there are about 1 million minority members in the city. We are confident that the minority would hold any city it took for how long, though? Only a few hours. Why? Because the lack of weapons, facilities, logistics all put the minority at a final disadvantage. Now notice this next part. Before we even read this next paragraph, say this with me. Black folks don't belong in the military. Don't go. No, I know it's real good when you get in there and they give you room and board and everything, and you stay in there and do your time, and they take care of you for the rest of your life, folks. But especially now. No, I'm gonna tell you, we're getting ready to read why right now.
Especially now.
Look what it says. Since the Korean War, this department has shifted minority members of the armed forces to areas where combat is most likely to occur, with the aim of eliminating through combat as many combat trained military servicemen as fathers. Why is that? They can't afford to have combat military trained black folks on the streets here.
Right. So we see right here that from this King Apple plan that these people didn't cover all their bases, and this video was done before this, but the video was put on YouTube back in October in 2013. So we see how they operate. Like I said, they already know what they're gonna do. Like we talked about the on the dollar, on the new dollar bill, the $100 bill. How they got a water event that's gonna happen in New York. So like I was saying before, it's like the gospel. It's going if it's on that money, they didn't spend all the money and they get these artists, graphic artists, and all that to put that on the money. You think they ain't gonna do it? Like the brother just said, it's gonna happen. So they already had all this planned, and before we wouldn't even wait then. We ain't know nothing about no Rex 84 and King Alpha plane. But thanks to the Most High that we awake now that we can deal with this. And so with that same thing in perspective, and according to what I'm telling you that we going to Africa and we going soon, I want to show you something else. I'm going to show you this other video. We're gonna walk the dog with it. So this guy here, I don't know if y'all seen this video, but let me get it right quick. You have to bear with me. The name of this video,
job selling insulation.
The name of this video is
made up of newspaper.
These are Africa Stupid. Africa Stupid. So let me show you what we're gonna listen to this as quick as let me get where I need to go. This guy's telling you, and he told us this came out in 2018, and he already telling you where. When you zeroed in on the right information, you can see they leaving just like sheep. So here we go.
Here today. In order for economy to grow, we need two things. You need a lot of people, and you need people that have money. So this is what United Nations predicts about the population of the world. The red line is Africa, the green line is Asia, and the rest is North America, Latin America, and Europe. The picture is pretty clear, isn't it? By 2100, 80% of the world population, either we like it or not, will live in Africa and in Asia. 5 countries out of top 10 countries in the world will be in Africa. India, Nigeria, and China will have more people living in their countries than in the United States. This is a lot of customers that may want to buy your stuff. But a lot of population is not enough. You need to have people that have money to spend. So the whole point is about growing middle class. Who is a middle class representative? Someone that has a day job, someone that makes enough money from its day job to pay for food, to pay for rent, to send his kids to school, maybe once per week go to the cinema, and once per year travel to some nice destination. That's enough. And the middle class is doubling right now in Africa. Currently, 30% of people living in Africa are already middle class representatives. That's more than in India. In the next 15 years, it's going to be twice that much. A lot of people that can buy your stuff. Okay, what do we do with that piece of information? Before I get to that, one more source of data. By year 2025, this is 8 years from now, 45% of Africans will live in cities. Africa will become the most urbanized continent in the world. There will be more people by percentage living in cities than in states and Europe. Of course, they want to move to the cities because they can find a job easier. It's easier for them to rent a house with power and water. It's closer to the shopping mall. It's closer to the cinema. It's closer to the school. All those basic stuff we people from Europe many take for granted. People in Africa love technology. When you have access to the internet, if you can afford a smartphone, and smartphones are really cheap because they come from China, they're as good as iPhones and they cost 1/10 of the price. As soon as they can afford it, they'll use it on a daily basis. If you use a smartphone and you use internet on your smartphone, that means you're a potential customer everywhere you go because you're always online. Nigeria is the world leader. 81% of people use internet on their smartphone. Fun fact, Poland is number 7 in the world. The only strictly European country that uses that much internet on the phones. You see, Nigeria is better than us. Buy more phones. Mobile banking users. If you have a bank account in Africa, you're going to use it on your mobile. You're not going to have a card. You're not going to go to a bank. You're going to do everything on a mobile. Banking system in Africa is way more developed than in Poland. If I make a transfer from my bank to my friend's bank, and there are 2 different banks, if I send the money and if in 1 minute he's not going to receive the money, I'm going to call everyone that I know in the bank and I'm going to ask, where is my money? There's no such thing as incoming sessions, outgoing sessions, elixir, all that crap. No. Money has to arrive from one place to another one under a minute.
Okay, so we see right here the guy giving us, he let us know that they got the projection that over 85 to 90% of the population going to end up in Africa by the middle of the century. So something got to happen major for everybody to end up over there. They got to have a plan, and like I'm showing you how these people are already planning, 50 years or so ahead of us on what they already know what they're gonna do. And so he's showing you all the graphs there where everybody gonna be at. And like I was saying before, him and Pastor Manning, the guy that did the first video, they must have some kind of website. They talking back and forth because of everything lining up. And so how what's gonna be the thing that's gonna get out most of the people over there? Well, while we was being ruled with Obama for 8 years, they were setting up all this stuff behind the scenes. Just like everything Trump doing, Obama passed all executive orders for him to be doing it. But people was they put a black president in there and had everybody thrown off. And while everybody was dealing with him, they was setting all this stuff up. And now we didn't just get where we are today in our house because of some virus and wreaking havoc all over the place. It was a plane. So I'm going to give you a clip from this video where, like I said, while the 8 years while we was dealing with Obama, they had something else going on. Anybody got any comments while I'm trying to find this? You been heard?
I was listening to the part about the fact that I think it was the Nigerian people or Africa people do most of their life on their phone or their business, and so they have been their lifestyle has been made that way because the powers that be knew in what direction they were going. So part of the New World Order is really moving toward no more going into banks, but doing everything on the phone. So they're taking the world to a place, Africa, where they've already got the people's mentality that way.
Right, exactly. It's like I say, they're hurting them like sheep.
Mm-hmm. And I think the videos that you are sharing with us, they, how people say there's a time for everything. In the Bible, The Bible talks about the fullness of time. Well, this is the perfect time, for us to hear these videos because like you say, we're not just hearing the videos, but we're living and we're seeing what the videos said was going to happen. It's either already happened or it's happening. So, it makes it more a person living right now and what we're going through can look at this and look back and be able to, put the what do you call it, thread the needle. Or
speakers of this afternoon panel.
Right, go ahead. I'm trying to.
This great audience.
Go ahead. I'm trying
to listen carefully to them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just saying that if perhaps if we had heard these videos and we had not lived through, what we have lived through for the last 2 or 3 weeks, they would not be as relevant because a lot of people that hear things, they say, oh, how do you know that's going to happen? That don't even make sense. Like, why would we go back to Africa? There's nothing that's pointing to us going back to Africa. But right now, it's very relevant.
Right, exactly. So this video I'm doing right now is it's about the Belt and Road Initiative. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but they was doing all this stuff while behind the scenes while we was over dealing with Obama. They were setting all this up in Africa, cause this stuff is they way ahead of the game. This couldn't have happened within the last it couldn't have happened within the last 2 or 3 years that Trump been on scene. So they already had it in place.
The opening this esteemed and very interesting panel. My name is Hussein Askari. I'm an Iraqi Swedish citizen, and I'm the Southwest Asia coordinator for the Schiller Institute. I've been working with the Schiller Institute for the last 23 years. I'm also the co-author of the special report. If you have the next slide, extending the new Silk Road to West Asia and Africa, which was released here last year in a conference, and it was released in November 2017, last year here in this same place. This report, which we have copies of, everybody should get a copy, is a wonderful expression of the optimism that has been sparked by Africa joining the new paradigm defined by the Belt and Road Initiative of 2013, presented by China, and the BRICS nations for Paris Declaration of 2014. Most African nations are working intensively now on real development plans with China and these other nations of the BRICS and their friends. This report is also a roadmap for the bright future that is awaiting the coming generations of Africans and the people of Southwest Asia, so-called Middle East. Middle East is the wrong term. It's called Southwest Asia. Oh, okay. This is to the left we have Africa.
So they're showing on you can't see the map, but they're showing a map there how at nighttime from Google Earth they're showing the lights, the amount of lights you can see all over Africa. It's not that many, but they got 2050 and all of Africa lit up.
Of how we vision Africa to look like by night by 2050. By 2030, Southwest Asia and Africa will have jointly contributed the greatest population growth out of all world regions, reaching 1.9 billion in 2030 with an amazing median age of only 23 years. By 2050, the bulk of the world's population growth will take place in Africa. Of the additional 2.4 billion people projected to be born between 2015 and 2050, 1.3 billion will be added in Africa.
Okay, so you heard that. So this the name of this video, if you want to watch the whole video, it's panel 2, how the Belt and Road Initiative is changing Africa. So he's showing you that all this stuff been in place. Like he said, they took the picture. They looking at Africa from Google Earth way back in 2014, 2013. And so all this stuff was in place, but they had to throw the population off, the people that's going to be affected, which is the Israelites, the diaspora, the African Americans, and the people in the Caribbean. They had us. They took us off on a ride with Obama while they were setting all this up. And so now we're at the point now where they get ready to initiate this. And so you also have to keep in mind that what's been going on, and we've been dealing with it for the last 3 years or so. Dr. Al-Qaeda. All of a sudden, she come out of nowhere with this fiery speech and all that about Africa, needing to go back to Africa, and what the AU wants to do with African Americans, and how Africa needs African Americans and all that. So then all of a sudden, where we at today with the coronavirus. So like I said before, we didn't get to where we at right now, where everybody can find in their houses, everybody wearing masks and paranoia all over the place. We didn't get it on accident. So this next clip that I'm going to show you, remember what Pastor Manning said. He said that Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, George Soros, all these billionaires, they want the African Americans, which is the Israelites, out of America. They want us out of here. So, like I said, coronavirus is here. Most of us can find our houses. We see military on the streets in a lot of places. So now I'm going to this other clip. It's called, the name of this video, if you want to watch it, is the next outbreak. And it's the next outbreak. We are not ready. We are not ready. It's by Bill Gates. Let me bring it up. So, anybody got any comments on what we talked about so far, or while I'm trying to find it? Okay, so yeah, this right here is something else, because, like I said, just like the other guy that did the video on the projection of the population by 2050, 2030. We see it all. He not making that those predictions and projections on a whim. You already know he already got this Edomite think tank, Israeli think tank already know what they're gonna do. Here we go. Okay. It's okay. Here we go.
When I was a kid, the disaster we worried about.
He done this in April 2015.
That's why we had a barrel like this down in our basement, filled with cans of food and water. When the nuclear attack came, we were supposed to go downstairs, hunker down, and eat out of that barrel. Today, the greatest risk of global catastrophe doesn't look like this. Instead, it looks like this. If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than war. Not missiles, but microbes. Now, part of the reason for this is that we have invested huge amounts in nuclear deterrence. But we've actually invested very little in a system to stop an epidemic. We're not ready for the next epidemic. Let's look at Ebola. I'm sure all of you read about it in the newspaper. Lots of tough challenges. I followed it carefully through the case analysis tools we use to track polio eradication. And as you look at what went on, the problem wasn't that there was a system that didn't work well enough. The problem was that we didn't have a system at all. In fact, there are some pretty obvious key missing pieces.
They're giving you the blueprint.
We didn't have a group of epidemiologists ready to go who would have gone, seen what the disease was, see how far it had spread. The case reports came in on paper. It was very delayed before they were put online, and they were extremely inaccurate. We didn't have a medical team ready to go. We didn't have a way of preparing people. Now, Medicine Sans Frontières did a great job orchestrating volunteers, but even so, we were far slower than we should have been getting the thousands of workers into these countries. And a large epidemic would require us to have hundreds of thousands of workers. There was no one there to look at treatment approaches, no one to look at the diagnostics, no one to figure out what tools should be used. As an example, we could have taken the blood of survivors, processed it, and put that plasma back in people to protect them. But that was never tried. So there was a lot that was missing. And these things are really a global failure. The WHO is funded to monitor epidemics, but not to do these things I talked about. Now in the movies, it's quite different. There's a group of handsome epidemiologists ready to go. They move in, they save the day, but that's just pure Hollywood. The failure to prepare could allow the next epidemic to be dramatically more devastating than Ebola. Let's look at the progression of Ebola over this year. About 10,000 people died, and nearly all were in the 3 West African countries. There's 3 reasons why it didn't spread more. The first is there was a lot of heroic work by the health workers. They found the people and they prevented more infections. The second is the nature of the virus. Ebola does not spread through the air. And by the time you're contagious, most people are so sick that they're bedridden. Third, it didn't get into many urban areas, and that was just luck. If it had gotten into a lot more urban areas, the case numbers would have been much larger. The next time, we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a...
So we see right here, see how that, he gave, literally what he did was, you can go back and watch the video, he just gave you a blueprint back in April 2015, coronavirus. So they looking at everything that Ebola, that the Ebola didn't do, and so, like he said, it's got a patent on it. So all they did was, what they learned from Ebola is what brought coronavirus on. So they put it out there, but he said that it wasn't airborne. So what is coronavirus? The coronavirus is airborne. So that's all they did was upgrade it. Like I said, it's a weaponized version. It been had coronavirus, but it wasn't nothing. But they weaponized it based on, they gave it these characteristics that he just laid out. And he told you that there's a virus coming. And he said the next one they come, it's going to do such and such. And so here it is. It ain't just show up on accident. We witnessed SARS. We witnessed AIDS before SARS. Then we witnessed SARS. Then we witnessed the Ebola virus. Now here we are with coronavirus. So all right, 2 more clips, and then I'm gonna close this out. So like I was saying before, when you understand the powers that be, the man, Pastor Manning told us. Bill Gates, we just listened to what he said. He just laid it out for us. Coronavirus. George Soros, Mark Zuckerberg and all them, right? And we also know these people are working in concert with Boulay. Well, let's look at what the Boulay said. Okay, anybody got any comments off that video? Remarks? Something they caught?
Well, I always think when they're explaining and they're talking about these viruses, you know, for me, they have too many details. Not that they have too many details, but it's obvious that they have been, you know, honing their craft, you know, to have this virus to do even more. And, you know, we talk about the Tuskegee, the things that they did with the Tuskegee Institute. They used the whole population for guinea pigs. When they're trying to, put forth their wicked plans. Yeah, I mean, so he's talking about what the Ebola virus did not do, and then all we need.
This is a representative NYC on Manhattan.
You know, all we need to do is in order for the virus to cause more damage, is for it to get into. Did he say urban areas or?
Right. He said the Ebola virus didn't get into the urban areas.
Right.
So they had to tweak it. Like he said, it's got a patent on it. Mm-hmm. Right. So all they did was tweak it, and so the coronavirus doing what all the previous viruses before it didn't do.
Is it?
But now what you say?
Is it really? I mean, when you say get into the urban areas, are you talking about get to people that look like us?
Say again.
She was saying when I asked about the urban areas, what are we speaking of areas where there are people that look like us?
No, we talking about populated areas.
Yeah, populated areas.
Population.
Oh, okay.
Right. No, you're talking about populated areas where the big congestion is. So we looking at what they're telling us to give everybody, space and equal distance and all this stuff, because of people all on top of each other in the city. But you already created the virus to jump. So like I'm saying is, so when you say that it seems as if he's laying out something, because he ain't talking to us. That's what you have to understand. When they make these blockbuster movies, they ain't for us. The movie's for them. It ain't for us. They just making up money off us because he went to the theater and watched it, but they ain't talking to us. All the subliminal messages and all that for a certain group of people. We saw that on the video about the world is about to change. They got all these symbols and stuff they put across all these movies and the pedophiles and all that. They reading it. They know exactly what it means. We don't know what it means. So they getting a whole lot more out of the movie than you ever gonna imagine to get out of it. So this guy right here is one of the guys that was on the reparation panel, and they just did this video right here in February 23rd. Now, so looking at what's happening now, we in March. That was about 2 weeks ago. So look what he say. Like I say, they're working in concert.
Ability to accumulate or to borrow more wealth. So the wealth gap continues to grow, has continued to grow over years.
She's getting ready to talk to this guy.
Such that now the average white household wealth of $100 for that $100, and the average black household has $5.04. So the wealth disparity is great, long-standing, and continues. So, Dr. Daniels, why are reparations so important in this day and age?
Well, it's not just this day and age, it's long overdue in this day and age. And what we find, however, is important is the surging interest, the surging coming together of so many institutions. And so
that damage has to be repaired. And I want to stress again something the professor talked about in that regard as well. It's understanding the intergenerational benefits and deficits. And it's really very necessary, particularly not only for African Americans, but for whites to understand this. Because very often whites say, I didn't have anything to do with it. But you don't have to, we're not indicting you individually. It's just that there were opportunities opened up to you because of enslavement that African Americans were denied. So with the Industrial Revolution, for example, black people were held in the South as sharecroppers, agricultural laborers, and so forth. It was a new form of slavery. We could have been brought to the North, and even though that was difficult, because within the context of class, those who were in charge ruthlessly exploited white labor as well. But it was still better to be working in a factory, a foundry, or a plant, or a mine.
Yeah, I had the wrong thing. I'm playing now.
Foremost, to create a 10-point reparations program, which we have. And that 10-point reparations program is designed to be a frame of reference
10-point reparations
for reparations initiatives around the country. In addition to that, we're supporting H.R. 40,
Listen what he
which
says.
was a bill first introduced by Congressman John Conyers in 1989, which was initially a bill to study whether or not enslavement warranted reparations. Because of the involvement of the folks who are part of the commission, including the organization in COBRA, we've changed that bill now to a remedy bill. So it's no longer the bill which is now before Congress, which is being sponsored by Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, is a bill to study reparations proposals for African Americans, which means that we're now in the remedy phase. In broad terms, we have a number of outstanding commissioners. We work very closely with the CARICOM Reparations Commission. There are a lot of people who are not aware that in the Caribbean there is a CARICOM reparations.
So what I'm doing is we see that Mosiah is two different distinct groups of Israelites. You got the bad seed and the good seed. We see the plan the Mosiah have in place through King Yahweh plan that how to deal with the Gentile and the wicked Israelite. And so what I'm showing you through reparations is how the Mosiah, he got another plan going. He's behind the whole thing with what he's going to do with the elect. Like he did in Egypt, like he did in Babylon. He had Cyrus to come out and give those whose spirit he had raised money, gold, and silver, all things they needed. So we see the Mosiah doing the same thing now. He changed not. So I'm going to pick this up.
Reparations Commission. It as a 10-point program. We work very closely with them. But we also do work in communities. So the work that we've done at the national level has helped to be synergistically related to some of the work that's being done here in New York, particularly in terms of the introduction of the bill in both the House and the lower chamber and the upper chamber to talk about an H.R. 40 type bill. And we just come out of Evanston, Illinois, where in the city of Evanston, Alderman Robin Ruth Simmons has introduced a bill that was passed where there will be $10 million over the next 10 years to deal with reparations in the city of Evanston. The reason why that's important is as commissions like the ones that are being set up in New York and the kind of research that the professor is doing, it means that we're going to begin to talk about how reparations should actually be paid at the local level in addition to the national level.
So, Professor, can you give our viewers an idea of the amount of money we're talking about when it comes to New York profiting from free labor and investing in products that relied on slave labor? Would it be in the thousands, in the millions? And how can examining this history shine a light on the amount of damage done? Well, certainly, for example, something like Citibank. The people that founded Citibank were involved in the slave trade. So there's how can we even calculate the amount of wealth that Citibank controls? So that wealth over time, we're talking in the millions and millions of dollars if you do aggregate all of the wealth that was created through the slave trade, through the products of slave labor. It's in the millions for sure. So, Dr. Daniels, you talked about the 10-point plan that the National African American Reparations Commission rolled out. What are some of the highlights of that plan, and how did the organization come to those conclusions?
Well, if I could just also chime in a little bit on this topic, because I think it is not really understood the degree to which the wealth of this country is built on the backs of slave labor, both in terms of the acceleration principle of the multiplier effect, which means that because of this tremendous amount of wealth was generated and indeed was built. So I really appreciate what the professors laid out in that regard. Well, in terms of looking at our 10-point program, we basically looked at what the CARICOM Commission had dealt with, and we modeled it in that way. And it's pretty basic. We're looking at issues like housing, economic development, healthcare, communications, the whole right of return of Africans to go back to Africa if they choose to do so, sacred sites. Probably here.
Okay. So you see that he said that's one of the priorities is that for us to return back to Africa, which is what the Most High said was going to happen to us. We're going to return back to the place from which we came. That's one of their number one priorities is that they got on the table is for us to leave here. And in light of everything else that's going on, and he said right here that it's a new insurgent, more so than ever before, that this thing is going to take place. And you think that it's a coincidence that it's coming down along the same time with all this other stuff going on with the coronavirus? Now watch this, and I'm gonna be through with this. So, with all that being said, I had to put Dr. Alcana in here some kind of way. That big mouth self. So here we go. Let me get there real quick. Anybody got a comment so far while I'm looking for this? Guys, what you think about what I'm doing?
Good job.
Okay, so here goes the last video. Again, I'm going to close with do my prayer.
Upwork has a
Okay. Here we go.
Actually, people don't realize this we're ahead of the game. African Union has declared in 2025, and they are leading by example. We have 10 commissioners in the African Union. If you subtract the chairperson and the deputy chairperson, we are down to 8 commissioners who are leading all the major sectors in Africa. 5 of those are women. In Africa today, you're going to find many leadership roles already being held by women. Rwanda is leading the way. The parliament is 6% women. The cabinet is 40% and they're going towards 50. Ethiopia stepped down 50% cabinet. Many heads of state now are mandated to go towards 50% cabinet. They have made it very clear at the African Union level. We, women, are the majority of the population. We must be either 50-50 or the majority at every leadership level. Gender parity 2025 is the goal for Africa.
Okay, I got the wrong thing. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, what happened was she mentioned, we talked about this on the line. We watched the video. It's on the video is Dr. Alcana Chimboy, Best Answers to the Diaspora, and she mentioned that in September of 2020, they got 5 different planes leaving from 5 different locations in America with African diaspora diasporans on it, which are Israelites. So this in September. And like I said, look at everything that all the clips we didn't watch, how everything's been lined out in blueprint. You can see it unfolding. So it's not a coincidence that where we at today right now, and then all of a sudden, next month or two, they got 5 different planes living from 5 different locations in America with Israelites on it, going back to the west coast of Africa. So with all these things that we didn't discuss, we knew was coming. You know, we identified them on the lines. We identified them through the Tanakh and through these lost books that the Most High done revealed to us, like Enoch, Jasher, and Jubilees, and the Apocryphal books. And so what we didn't know was the glue, the way in which they was gonna bring them about. And so now we looking at the glue. It's coronavirus. They activated the coronavirus. That's the glue that's connecting all these moving parts that we've been looking at. So it's right here in our face. So with that being said, I'm gonna open the floor for some Q&A before I go to closing. Anybody have any comments or interjections they want to bring about before we go into the closing?
So I see on the YouTube where they're in Africa's or some countries aren't allowing any U.S. citizens.
Right. That's because of they spooked by the coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah.
So, well, I didn't know if that was putting the vote to us or it's that across the board. Are they talking to everybody?
Well, that's just temporary, because like I said, when you go back and look at, they wanted to put us under surveillance in a big way. So what they do? They had 9/11, and then we went through 9/11, but the objective, what they wanted to do was after 9/11. So what their objective is going to be is a coronavirus is setting it up, but it's going to be implemented and brought to fruition after chaos over with. They just putting us in, setting us up for it. It's moving us closer. Like I say, it's a blueprint. They just icking us closer and closer to their plan. And the guy broke that down in the video, Africa Stupid. He already told you where 90% of the population of the world going to be at in 2030, 2050. They're going to be in Africa. But the thing we didn't know was what was the mechanism that was going to get them there. But we know what that is now. They creating a toxic environment or over here especially, because they focus is when you let them the ambassador tell the story, they need the African American. They need Israelite over there in Africa. It's a must that the African American be in Africa, and that's what we see happening. And then all that's coinciding with the King Yapa plan and all these other videos we watch.
Mm-hmm. So is the extermination supposed to happen here in the United States or to
the bad feed?
Oh, okay.
To the bad feed, yeah.
Right. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
So, I just wanted to share this. I heard on the video, the wealth of this nation was built on the backs of slaves, and I have known that for quite some time, but I didn't know how to think about the magnitude of that. Right. And when they shared, they just gave one example. Citibank, the folks who started Citibank
right.
were slaveholders or part of the transatlantic slave trade. And that one bank is worth millions or billions, if you will. So that's only one bank. So, I just the magnitude and knowing how to think about the impact of free labor.
Right.
And how everything about this country is a result of our presence here and our ancestors, our people. So that's it's massive,
Right. So that's how that's the thing that so many people don't do, is that, like the Most High says, first of all, he tell us coming out of the gate, he changed not. So, like I said, didn't the Israelites spoil the Egyptians when they left?
Mhm.
Didn't they spoil the Babylonians?
Mhm.
Okay, so we know we're gonna receive a lump sum, a whole bunch of wealth, because we gonna have to use that wealth to go back when we go back to do what we have to do. So we're gonna spoil these people. That's also, beyond shadow of a doubt.
Right, and so then the other part of that is, with the one example of the city bank and how massive reparations would be just based on that, I understand now why they can't, why they shy away from reparations, why they won't bring it fully to the table, because to pay us reparations would be to break the nation.
Right. And the thing about it is once it started rolling, it's gonna start uncovering a whole bunch of other stuff, which is when the money just gonna stack up more and more and more. So that's why they doing a control job on it. They gonna do it, but they gonna do it the way they want. It's a control job. It's, so that's how they. But like I was saying before, during the time, they tell us over and over in history that Egypt was in its heyday. The golden era of Egypt was during Ramesses, time of Ramesses. Well, who was in Egypt during the time of Ramesses? The Israelites. Right. So that's why they keep on saying it's a must that we go over there, because of what they get ready to do with this the final incarnation of the four beasts over in Africa. The Israelites got to be there. They say that he told Daniel that Darius, the last king of the Medes, was going to be far greater than the rest of them. Well, who was in Babylon when Darius ruled? The Israelites. So it ain't hard to figure out. So that's why we are such a demand, because they understand it. So with that being said, I got a couple of things I'm gonna do on connecting the dots. So you said we always hear about the four beasts, and we always hear it, but it kind of slide over our head when it says the four beasts is diverse from the other three. The other three being the Babylonians, Medes and Persians, and the Greeks. So what's different about the four beasts? It's Esau, that he merged with the Greeks, and they can't eat them. So what makes them different? They got our records, they got our books, they got our laws from the Most High, and they operate under auspices of that. The other three kingdoms didn't do that. They did it with our books. They incorporated the Most High system with their system, but they're using it wickedly. The other three kingdoms didn't have that understanding. But Esau got that understanding. That's why it's diverse. That's why, like I said, it's not that it's four kings gonna come at the end. They know how to jump, pack their bags and go somewhere else. But they got a blueprint in the bag. They just lay the blueprint back out, in another geographical location. And we're witnessing that right now as we speak. Like I said, they brought in Obama. Only Esau can do this. They brought Obama in and put everybody to sleep, and they've been playing that. And so they brought him in, put the African Americans to sleep, the Israelites, and while they were doing that, they was setting up what they get ready to do, or when they make this jump. So yeah. So he was going, like I said, he was going to do 8 years. Just like, you can flip around. They got Trump in there for a reason. And, so Obama set it all up. So with that being said, like I said, the reason the four beasts is different than the other three is that they have they got our records. And this is something I was I was laying in bed this morning, and it came across my mind, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna let it permeate in everybody's mind, and anybody that hear it, let them think about it, because now is the time for you to hear this. It says that if you love watermelons, right? And most black folks love watermelons. If you love watermelons, and then so you love watermelons, and then you got a garden, but in your garden you got cantaloupe. You ain't planting no watermelons, but you love watermelons. So but you planted cantaloupes in your garden. So what sense do that make? So I said that to say this: you say you love the Most High Yahweh, and you like to absorb His knowledge, but you're dealing with the New Testament. Mm-hmm. So let's let that ferment. You say you love the Most High, you love his dealing with His Word, you want the truth of the matter. So why are you dealing with the New Testament? Mm-hmm. Let that ferment. Okay. And so one more thing, he says that counters. I keep talking about the counters of Israelites. So when you see, like when I was on these different shows and how the people coming at me and how absurd they are and all this, but it don't affect me. So when you see that in the near future or whatever, remember what happened with Jeremiah. Mm-hmm. How Zedekiah and how they abused Jeremiah.
Right.
And remember how they did Mordecai, how Haman did Mordecai. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to plug that in there. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna leave the prayer out for tomorrow, because I'm like at 2 hours and 15 minutes. So I'm gonna do this prayer that I got right here for tomorrow's class. So let me turn off the recording. That's the end of the class.